Bath and Beyond. I've had times when I've got to stop at Bed Bath and Beyond. I've got to stop and I just don't have the time to do it. I never make the stop, and to be able to get the stuff that I would have gotten there online and have it delivered to my house, it's just so much easier. And that's the way, you're absolutely right, Rakesh. That's the way people are going today. So
who wants to bother to search for a parking space? That itself makes me hold my head.
Really, I agree with you on that one. But it's just the gas and time in general, right? Time and money.
I'd rather just click a button and it comes home.
There it goes.
But I want to share something with Lynn. I've been listening to you about how, you don't get mail delivered to your home. And we talk about the different places that so far have not reported any infectious rates or going crazy infectious rates. And it's starting to appear to me that it's places that doesn't have U.S. mail delivered.
Well, wait a minute.
It just started to occur to me. You got mail, but it doesn't come. I'm talking about delivered to the home, right? Where people have to go to the post office.
True.
So I'm starting to think that, but my theory might be wrong, but I've heard this a few times and I'm just like, what's common denominator here, right? And it could be, I'm just theorizing. Sometimes you have to speculate and theorize before you find an answer, so.
Well, we hope that people don't hang around the post office too long, because then we won't have the ability to be able to report that we're the only community that doesn't have COVID virus. But anyway, I am going to have to take my leave, and it's not because Dr. Saggu just came on to this show. But anyway,
thank you so much for your donations and for your support and coming on and sharing stories. Your stories are just inspiring to me. Like, you've got some great stories, and I really enjoy it. And you're connected to so many other great and wonderful businesses that we want to have you on to talk about those as well. So maybe we can schedule you in on one of our business days, or come in on a Saturday when you're not going to go shovel dirt with your family. What are you digging up? I'm just curious, because I'm a gardener.
Well, we gave our daughter and daughter-in-law a banana plant, and it started, it wasn't very big. And all of a sudden now, the lady who is living there while they're in Toronto said, when she goes out the front door, she hits the leaves from the banana plant that hit her in the face. So that's the hard one, because if you've ever had to dig up a banana plant, and they're not supposed to be hardy in our area of the world, but they are if they're shielded by the house, because they get the warmth of the house, and this one happens to be. And the second one is oh, come on. Now you got me. But again, another one that's very difficult to dig up. So our grandson, who's a little bit younger than I am, and a little bit stronger than I am, is going to meet us there and help us dig these things out. And actually, we moved to a place 2 years ago when we downsized, and we came from 3 acres of gardens and gardens and gardens. We came to a place that didn't have any gardens, so we moved 300 plants here. So we're still planting the place, and we like plants. What can I tell you? So.
I'm glad to hear banana plants can survive that weather, because that's what I thought. A friend of mine has one, but they keep it in the house. And I'll have to tell them maybe if they plant it near the house, that the warmth from the house will protect it during the winter. We're having some really weird weather here.
Oh, my. Yesterday it was 86 here. I can't imagine what it was like in North Carolina yesterday. Well, and Wednesday it's going to be 56.
Yeah, and we've I think it was last week sometime, we dropped down below frost, And now
Right.
it jumped up to 80. But tomorrow, I don't know if you're aware of this, but we have a hurricane in the ocean
Yep, I have heard that.
on the coast.
and-
And that's odd. We don't get those until August, September. It used to bother me that it was creeping into a little bit of at the end of July. It was bothering me, but now we've jumped all the way to May. We've got our first hurricane. Yeah. And you're right. Something's going on. And keeps saying, we need it. So I'm going to see if I can get somebody from NOAA to come on and talk to us about this, because this is concerning me.
It is concerning. And they used to talk about April showers bring May flowers. Now we're having May showers because we've had so much rain. And again, this coming week, we're going to have a lot of rain. The flowers are wonderful, but we've had a lot of rain and a lot of wind. It has been a much windier year than I can ever remember.
It's very heavy winds, very, very
heavy winds.
And it's definitely very much. Good morning, Dr. Saggu. Good evening, actually. Good evening in India.
Good evening.
Good morning, Kim. Namaste, Ankit.
I love this.
Rakeshji. Especially.
And I will take.
How the dollars?
Hey,
How is the what dollar is?
God bless everybody and stay safe.
Same to you. God bless you. And don't forget your patch.
You got
it. I always enjoy Lynn. How are you doing? Oh my gosh, Dr. Saggu.
I'm good. I'm good.
So what good news do you have to bring us today?
So as we discussed about the metabolic syndrome, I think now this is time how to deal with the metabolic syndrome and how the bariatric surgery is going to help us to treat metabolic syndrome. So the metabolic syndrome is exposing us for 5 times vulnerable to the diabetes mellitus and 10 times for the cardiovascular accidents you can see, and 2 times of the hypertension, 10 times of the hypertension. So at least we should do something for the metabolic syndrome as a prevention. We just discussed about the diet part on that day, that how the diet should be and what the constants of the diet should be, and what would be the timing of the diets and how we need to change the lifestyle. But now if we talk about the bariatric surgery, so bariatric surgery is a therapeutic intervention. It is a therapeutic intervention to treat the cause and the manifestation of obesity and to treat all the comorbid condition because of the obesity. So if we are looking for sustainable long-term weight loss, then yes, bariatric surgery is there. The lot of benefits of the bariatric surgery is that we are going to lose weight, which is sustainable it's a long-term weight loss. Number 2, it is going to increase the life expectancy of the patient. Number 3, it is going to decrease the healthcare cost of the patient in the future. Number 4, it is going to give the mental peace to the patient. Number 5, it is going to treat all the comorbid conditions along with the obesity. It is there would be a substantial improvement or the resolution of the diabetes, of the blood pressure, hypertension, for obstructive sleep apnea, for infertility in the female, for backache, everything. So the glucose metabolism, it becomes good. Glucose control also becomes very good, and glucose tolerance also becomes very good. So there are a number of the procedure in bariatric surgery which we are doing nowadays, and every procedure is being done by the laparoscopic technique. So the most common procedure in India is a laparoscopic sleeve gastrectomy we do, and in US it is Roux-en-Y gastric bypass is most common, but we are doing equal number of Roux-en-Y gastric bypass and gastric sleeve and mini gastric bypass. A lot of procedures are there. If I talk about the laparoscopic sleeve gastrectomy, which is also known as banana sleeve resection, so many names has been given to this procedure. This is a very simple procedure where we remove some part of the stomach, which is the reservoir of the food there, and we remove around 80 to 85% of the part of the stomach. So the total capacity of the stomach, it goes down. So this will restrict your diet. It will restrict the portion size also. And earlier it was known that the diabetes was because of the pancreas, but nowadays it is not because of the pancreas, or we can say not only because of the pancreas, but yes, it is basically because of your digestive system. It is basically driven by, you can say, the neuroendocrine system of your digestive system, because uh, in the reaction to your foods, a lot of hormones are being secreted from the digestive system, and all those hormones, they regulate the secretion of the insulin. They regulate your hunger and or your satiety reflexes through the centers which are present in the brain at the hypothalamus. So when we do the bariatric surgery, so there is an alteration of all these hormones, and because of these hormones, we are going to control the diabetes, or we are going to control the weight, or we are going to control the other system of the body. So if you talk about the sleeve gastrectomy, number one, there is a restriction of the food, that the portion size of your food will go less. It will decrease in the size. It will give you the less calories, and there would be more restriction. And the hormonal part, yes, because we are going to remove that part of the stomach. So because the ghrelin is a one hormone which is responsible for the hunger. The more is the level of the ghrelin in the body, the more you have a hunger. So we can say this is orexogenic hormone. This is a diabetogenic hormone, which is being secreted by the stomach. So because of the orexogenic manifestation, it will increase the hunger, and because of the diabetogenic action, it will decrease the insulin level, or it can decrease the insulin sensitivity, or it can increase the level of the growth hormones. So all these conditions, the ghrelin will increase the hunger, and it predisposes to have an obesity. So by removing the part of the stomach, we are going to remove the cells also, which produce the ghrelin. And after the surgery, the level of the ghrelin hormone goes down. And because of that, we have a good control on the diabetes after sleeve gastrectomy. And we have a good weight loss after the sleeve gastrectomy. Second procedure is the Roux-en-Y gastric bypass. What we do in the Roux-en-Y gastric bypass, we divide the stomach into two pieces. Proximal is a very small piece. We can say it is hardly, you can say 20 to 40 ml, and the bigger the distal piece. So now what we do, we connect this proximal small piece of the stomach to the distal intestines. So now the food will not go to the stomach, which is the bigger part. It will go to the smaller part of the stomach, and then directly from there, the food will travel into your intestines. So that causes control of the diabetes. So there are so many physiological effects because of the gastric bypass. The one is the impact of the weight loss. So because of the weight loss, because of the decrease in the number of the adipose tissues in the fat cells, the insulin sensitivity is go up. It will go up, and resistance of the insulin will go down. And it will also protect the pancreatic beta cell function. So the beta cells are the cells in the pancreas from where the insulin is being secreted. So it will increase the function of the beta cell. It will decrease the insulin resistance. It will increase the insulin sensitivity. So because the smaller part of the stomach is there in the pathway of your food, so that is why the portion size will also go down. So the total portion, the quantity of the meal which we will take, that will go down. So that is why the total intake of the calories will also go down. Then we are exclude the distal stomach. That will also have an impact on the weight loss. Then there is the exclusion of the proximal small intestine. That will also play a major role in the control of the diabetes and the weight loss, because a lot of anti-incretin are being secreted from that part of the intestine that will not be secreted after the bariatric surgery, after the Roux-en-Y gastric bypass. So the incretin level, incretin is the hormone, or we can say the effect of the hormone, which increases the insulin sensitivity, it decreases the insulin resistance, and it increases the satiety. There is a more satiation after the Roux-en-Y gastric bypass, because this hormone is going to tell the brain that you are full. You don't need to have more food. So early satiety would be there, insulin sensitivity will go up. So in that way, we are going to control the diabetes. Another effect is there is increased level of GLP-1. So a lot of hormones are being secreted from mouth to the whole of the intestine. So these are the very important hormones. That is, the ghrelin is important, insulin is important, and now the GLP-1, which is being secreted from the intestine, is also important, because what the GLP-1 does, it has an incretin effect. Incretin means it will increase the sensitivity of the insulin, it will decrease the resistance to the insulin, it will give you the early satiety, it will make you feel full early after taking small bites, or we can have after the small portion of your meal, you will be having the satiety. So this is how the Roux-en-Y gastric bypass have an effect on the diabetes. Then there are mini gastric bypass, there is the biliopancreatic diversion, there is the jejunal bypass, there is a BPD with the DS. A lot of procedures are being done. So the principle of all the procedure is we are going to increase the sensitivity of the insulin and decrease the resistance to the insulin. So in spite of having effect on the diabetes, we have an effect on the reproductive life of the females. Because after the bariatric surgery, there is the leptin is also go down, and the female sex hormones concentration will go up. There is more chances of ovulation. There is a regularization of the menstrual periods. There is a decreased androgenic effect in PCOS, polycystic ovarian disease, in the females. So the hirsutism, that is the overgrowth of hair on the body, that will go down. So bariatric surgery have positive effect on the reproductive females reproductive life and the males reproductive life. In the females, the testosterone level will go down, and the males testosterone level will go up. So it has a positive effect on the reproductive life. After bariatric surgery, on sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is when you have a snoring at night. So the snoring would be the initial part of developing obstructive sleep apnea. It is a very dangerous condition when you have a decreased concentration of the oxygen in the brain cell at night, and you suddenly you awaken up, and then you go, even it may be for few fractions of the second that you don't know how many times you are awakening at night because of obstructive sleep apnea. So this is basically linked with the obesity because of the fat around the neck. So there is an obstruction to your windpipe, and the oxygen going towards your brain, that goes down. And when there is a decreased concentration of the brain cells of the oxygen, then automatically the brain is going to awaken up you that, look, my oxygen level is going down, please do something. So there is a frequent awakening at night. This is known as obstructive sleep apnea. And sometimes this is so dangerous that because of this, there can be a silent death at night. So this is, after the bariatric surgery, we are having the relief from the obstructive sleep apnea also. And a lot of other comorbid conditions, they are also going to be, there is a major resolution after the bariatric surgery. So here I would say, combination of your good diet, then modification of your lifestyle, and the bariatric surgery. All three, they have additive action or the mechanism for the resolution of all the conditions which are there as a part of the metabolic syndrome.
Very, very nicely explained, Dr. Saggu. I always enjoy your talks because I'm diabetic, so I'm extremely sensitive. I've been through sleep apnea. Now I've lost weight, so it's that's not so much of a problem. But I really enjoy your talks because, and not only that, I think when it builds overall health, in terms of a pandemic, we become less susceptible. Otherwise, we diabetics are so vulnerable to these kind of things.
Yeah, because any kind of disease, whether it is a diabetes, whether it is a hypercholesterolemia, whether it is a hypertension, it is a sleep apnea, they are going to eat up your immunity. So when you don't have you can say the average or the good immunity, then you are susceptible to each and every pandemic. It may be COVID, it may be influenza, it may be HIV, it may be anything. So any type of the disease, it may be simple respiratory infection. So because of the chronic diseases, it is going to eat your immunity. And when you don't have an immunity, you are susceptible to a lot of things.
A lot of things, yes.
No, and I think that it's like we keep reiterating, these are not habits just to survive COVID. Again, this is good habits to protect you completely, because obesity is on the rise, and we need to eliminate the obesity, think a little bit smarter about our health and how we can beat it. And I think that there are some cases, maybe, I don't know, maybe you can correct me, but there are some cases of obesity that maybe could not have been prevented. But for the most of it, I think it's just our standard lifestyles that we have changed in the past 10 years. Our foundation changed. And these are good things to talk about routinely, to remind ourselves, you can eat better.
Yeah. So one thing we should keep in mind, that the obesity is not a God gifted. It has not come to you through the nature. It is a man-made. It is a man-made disease. It is a man-made disease. And if it is a man-made disease, you can always control this. And everything is in your hands. Everything is in control. So it's a mindset. You have to change your mindset. You have to change your diet pattern. You have to change your lifestyle.
Yeah, and that's a good point, that it is a man-made disease. There are a lot of man-made diseases, and there are things those are the things that we're supposed to control, and we're not. And we just need to be on top of it. I see it all the time, and I ask myself, how does this happen? I think it starts here. It starts with a poor foundation, but also something that irritates me is it's cheaper to buy the poor quality foods and the foods that are not good for us than it is to buy the healthier foods. A mom can go in and buy several bags of potato chips and hand them out to the kids for less than what she could buy one bag of oranges or apples or bananas. And that shouldn't be. We should be encouraged and inspired and rewarded for shopping healthier, and we're not. It's just, nature
is providing us a healthy food. Nature is providing us a healthy food. Nature is providing us fruits, vegetables, lot of complex sugars, the natural sugars. We have a polyunsaturated fatty acids. Lot of things are there in the nature. But what we are doing, the man is playing with all these things. We are interfering. We are making those healthy food into ultra processed diet. Yeah. So we are processing the things. If we are processing the things given by the nature, now the nature has started processing us. And when the nature is going to process us, we have seen the results of COVID-19.
Yeah, and I think one of my doctors one time, he shared with me that it's healthier to eat the fruit than drink the juice. I was always saying, well, I'm drinking the juice. I'm drinking the, and he goes, no. Your body needs to die. That's why nature made it this way. Your body needs to digest the fruit. It's healthier for the body, and it processes. That's why the fruit grew that way. So yeah, you're right. We go out and we process it in ways we shouldn't be. We need, our bodies need to eat it the way it grows. It just, it's just.
I have a question for you regarding the bariatric surgery. So we have seen that there are a lot of young children, basically, or newborn child, they are obese. Since the day they born, maybe they started getting the obesity maybe in very early age. So what is the difference between that obesity and that obesity which we created after maybe after late 30s or early 40s?
Ankit, there are a lot of causes for the obesity, and one of the causes is genetic also, the environmental also, and your lifestyle also. The genetic also plays around 10 to 20% of the obesity. That is the Prader-Willi syndrome. There is a leptin resistance syndrome. So a lot of syndromes are there because of the mutation in the genes. You have an obesity prevalence in the family. But now, which we are seeing the adolescent obesity, moreover, that adolescent obesity is because the environment of that family is not good.
Yeah.
If there is a genetic, the genetic can occur in one or two adolescent in the family. But all the adolescent in the family, they are, a lot of families, They have everybody is obese. So that is because the environment of your family is not good. You are more prone to have obesity. So that is the major reason. So if there is even in the genetic obesity also, we are doing the bariatric surgery. We have done 4-year-old boy also, and they also need some sort of surgery because ultimately this surgery is going to change the hormone level inside the body, and according to the hormone levels, the obesity or there would be the weight loss, and we can say the less prevalence for the diabetes or hypertension to develop in the adolescent or in the adulthood. So those type of the obesity can also be controlled, but moreover, these obesity is because of the family environment. The obesity is running in the family because nobody is running in the family.
Yeah.
So that is the family environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So well said, sir. Well said. And also, we have seen that. There is still a gap whenever you go out and try to buy the diet foods and things like that. They are not available in the market, and people tend to buy food which says healthy food, but they are not healthy for you. So, what kind of food habits we need to develop, especially for the obese people? I'm not talking about myself, but generally for the obese, because they also would like to eat all those junk food, but how they can, try to prevent themselves from eating those foods and try to change the diet.
Yeah, there should be an ABCD formula. A is for the adequacy. Your diet has to be adequate, having all the things. Number B is balanced. The diet has to be balanced. The lot of things are there like dairy products. They are good. You can say they are not good in the protein, but they have some sort of natural carbohydrate. They have some sort of iron or other things. So you can combine always the constituents. Some constituents they have a deficiency of something, and they have a deficiency of other things. So the diet should be balanced. C is the calorie. You should see your diet should provide you lesser in the calorie. It should be more, bulky diet. So the bulky diet will make you full early.
Okay.
So you will consume less calories. So you should have a bulky food. Then it should be adequate, balanced, less calorie, and it should have a moderation in everything. Moderation in everything.
And also, sir, how important is if we start, doing our dinner early, maybe before 7, and then that will also help in the lifestyle?
Yeah, that way we can see your metabolism, the timing of the metabolism. So the meals has to be according to the timing of the metabolism. So if we see, there are so many studies which they studied the level of the ghrelin. Of the ghrelin. Ghrelin is an hormone that is orexogenic, that increase your appetite. So in the morning at 7 o'clock there is a peak of the ghrelin. Then at 12 o'clock there is a peak of the ghrelin. Then 6 o'clock there is a peak of the ghrelin. So it means after 7 in the morning, 7 to 9, the metabolism is very fast. Then 12 to 2 is the metabolism is fast. And then around you can say 6 to 8 is the metabolism is fast. So these are the timing for your meals. If you take meals in those timings, in those intervals, the metabolism would be good. Your food would be digested well. If you are taking your meals beyond these timings, maybe your dinner after 8, then your metabolism becomes slow. And when the metabolism is slow, your digestion is not good. Whatever you have eaten, that would be deposited. The absorption of the glucose depends on the concentration of the glucose in the body. So if you already have a high glucose at 8 o'clock time, then whatever you will eat, the glucose, that would be absorbed and that would be deposited in form of fat and the glycogen.
Okay.
Because what we do, we spend our money in the daytime, and whatever the extra we have, we always keep handy to us. So fats and the glycogen, they can easily break up and give the glucose. Right. So that is why the rest of the glucose, which is not used by your blood, by your blood and then your body cells, that has been deposited in form of the fat and the glycogen. So that will what that will give you. The fat will give you more adipose tissue, and the glycogen will give you more glycogen deposition in the liver. So liver will also become fatty. Your abdomen will also become fatty. The periphery will become fatty. So that is why we should eat our meals in time period of when your metabolism is on the faster side.
How do you spell that hormone ghrelin?
That is GHRELIN. Ghrelin.
GHRELIN. Okay, because I just wanted to study that. And the last three, you said A, B, C, D: adequacy, balanced, calorie, low calorie, and what was D?
D was, I let you know D. I
Okay.
forgot the D. Yeah.
No worries. Okay, I'm making notes here every time you speak.
Yeah.
We can rewind the video and we can get to know what is the DV part.
Okay.
And Dr. Saggu, I mean, you know that, I mean, in India, people used to have that early morning tea or bed tea. How good or bad is that bed tea for your health?
Sorry?
So generally, we take early morning bed tea or morning tea without having empty stomach, basically. So is it good or bad for health?
No. Always best is you take a plain water, plain warm water in the morning, in spite of taking any type of sugary things, because your tea is enriched with the sugar, right? So the morning tea is not good. It's a fashion. Sometimes husband gives to the wife and sometimes wife gives to the husband. So this is give and take. It's not
But,
good. It
maintain
doesn't have
household-
any nutritional value.
To maintain the household democracy and to maintain the household peace, we need to have
This is the maintain the relationship between husband and wife.
Yeah.
Nothing else. And bedtime at the dinner, after the dinner is also not good. I think
Okay.
after 7 o'clock you need not to have any type of carbohydrate. If you want to have, you can have a natural carbohydrate that can be from your fruits, that can be from your dairy products. You can have a milk at night. And Mr. Rakesh, the D is nutrient density. The density of the nutrients has to be good in your diet. So A, B, C, and D.
Okay.
Density. Okay. What about, so I never put sugars in my teas. Is that okay I usually just
Yeah.
tea straight. So,
Yeah.
but I believe in a glass of water when I first wake up, and I brush my teeth and get a glass of water and then go to my tea or coffee. So, but I don't put any additives in my tea.
Yeah, if we can have a glass of warm water before brushing your teeth, that is good, because your saliva, overnight saliva, is alkaline, and always good to have a alkaline water into your stomach. That will neutralize your acidity. So
Okay.
to neutralize your acidity in the stomach, you need to have a alkaline saliva inside the stomach. So always good to have a glass of water before brushing your teeth.
I see. I didn't know that. That is good information.
Very
Oh my
good.
gosh! Wow. I mean, it's and that will help probably with our digestive system
Yeah.
throughout the day and everything. So
Yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna
That's
switch
true.
it. I'll have my warm glass of water when I wake up, and then brush my teeth, and then go.
And brush your teeth. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least
Awesome.
swallow your saliva. That is why swallowing your saliva is very important. It has a lot of nutritional value also. Lot of enzymes are there. Amylase is there. Amylase is very important enzyme for the digestion.
So are there some teas that are better for you than other teas? Because you always read these labels, right? And they go, oh, this tea's better for digestive, and this. Are there some teas that are really better for you than others?
You can have a green tea, because green tea have antioxidants, and the antioxidants always take away the free oxygen radicals you have in your body. So to get rid of your free radicals, antioxidants, any type of antioxidant, whether it is a green tea, whether it is a vitamin B, vitamin D, vitamin C, these all, vitamin E also, they are all antioxidants. So having an antioxidant is good for your skin, good for your body.
Okay. No, I think that's good to know. I just, you always read labels, right? They go, oh, this is better for you than this, and ginger tea is better for your digestive system. I think if you mix spices up, it's probably good. But yeah.
These herbs are important for your immunity. Even ginger is good. Even the garlic is also good. Turmeric is also good. You can have a cumin seeds also. So these spices which we use for your cooking, that are very important to boost up your immunity. So for that case, you can have a turmeric, you can have a garlic, ginger. These are good.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
I think
my
it's-
wife takes turmeric with coffee regularly. She enjoys it.
Okay. I actually take turmeric with the milk during at night
Right, okay.
and
with
rabbit milk.
two cloves of garlic.
Oh,
Oh, I never heard of that. That's
Yeah,
it.
that is the immunity booster. That is the immunity booster. And because I got my
Dr. Saggu.
tooth extracted, so it's good for that also.
No, I think that's I would have never thought of that. You know what's interesting is I would feed my dog garlic every day. And you know why I did that? To keep the ticks and fleas off of my dog, right? So my dog was eating healthy, and I'm like, one day I'm like, well, if I want the fleas and ticks off my dogs, one of me, why don't I eat the garlic, right? so
I think the turmeric is good for skin as well. I think Dr. Tulla is with us.
Yeah, it's
not
a good
doctor.
antiseptic. Yeah, antiseptic, and it's good for the skin also.
so
Sashikal Tula.
Hello, sir. How are you? If we go by literature, if we go by the ancient literature, this turmeric or haldi, which we know in India, it was used for a lot of ailments of skin. Especially even in burns, they were using this. So even people who used to get burnt, they were using this as a
Turmeric.
treatment. And yeah, so
Sir, we can't hear you. You need to.
Oh,
We
sorry.
can't hear you.
ask him to pick his mic
Is
up.
it better now? Yeah, is it better now?
It's
Yeah.
better now, but there is some blocking as well on your
Okay.
camera.
Okay, I got it now.
Yeah.
So I guess so. This is what the thing is, that if you go by our ancient literature also, so there are a lot of practices which being done before, and turmeric is one of the most you can say an immunity booster also, as well as it was used in a lot of skin treatments, including burns, as I told you. So this is there with the turmeric story. Now comes with the tea. Now we need to understand that tea basically is a plant. See, you need to understand what is the difference between the various kind of teas, right? So there are two steps in teas which they are done. One is basically a rolling. That is, once the tea leaves are plucked out of the tea garden, so there is a step which is known as rolling, in which what they do is, this is basically partially processed tea. That means that there are the leaves which are basically dried and rolled over, and then the other steps of tanning and other things come into the picture. So tea, the green tea, which you basically is available all across the world by different trade names and all, that is basically, you can call it very lightly processed tea. So it's basically, minimally processed, right? The rest of the teas which are available with us, the common brands all around, they are processed tea. So you have tannin in greater quality in them. So we need to understand two things when we are taking tea. One is that we have a practice of including milk in tea, and especially in India, we have this habit of boiling the tea too much, right? Now, this is not a good thing to do. Though we Indians are hooked to boiling tea, we love to boil the tea in the pot and keep it boiling and boiling. I am also, a culprit in that I do that a lot, and it makes the tea tastier. But unfortunately, it does not make it decreases the nutritive value of the tea. So there is this challenge between taste and nutrition. So rule of thumb all over is that always you see that if you talk about nutritious food, it's going to be little less on taste, right?
Yeah.
That's typical of it. So the more the oil you put in, the more you put in the cheese, marmalade, these things you put them, the food becomes tastier. So we need to, there is a trade-off which we need to exercise when we are eating. That's what it is. And the most important thing in certain cultures, as I'm sure it happens in America also, I've seen all across the globe while traveling. So people have now started going to processed food. So they've lost the art of cooking.
Yeah.
One reason is they don't have the time, because everyone is busy. And what happens is, over a period of time, people don't really know what they're consuming. So even when they are buying the products off the shelf, hardly many people are looking into what they are buying. They're just pulling, the things off the shelf and putting it in that basket and carrying it home, opening it and eating it. So this is a tendency which we have realized that over a period of time, this has become. The other tendency of people why they tend to overeat is, one, because of psychological reasons also, which is very underrated. People don't appreciate and realize that there is a lot of psychology also involved in eating. So people who are depressed, people who are not, where the chips are down, there is a tendency to overeat. And once you start overeating, you will keep on eating and eating. The best trick to stop eating or try to contain eating is to chew more. So that means that when you're putting a bite in your mouth, you should be grinding it for 30 to 40 times. Now, how many people do that? Because if you grind it for that period of time, you will realize your appetite is going to go down.
Yes.
Yes.
Because the more you grind it, the more the message goes to the brain that, okay, you're filled. If you start stuffing your abdomen with food, the message portraying is going to be late and you would have overeaten by that time. I'm sure Dr. Saggu will agree with me there that the main story is to chew more. Unfortunately, we are so much strained on time and effort, so we are basically all we are gobbling food rather than enjoying food.
That is true.
That is true.
So very important is, what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, and how much to eat. So these four things are very important.
And also with
Even yeah. So
because your partners are also kind.
there should be a mindful eating.
Yeah.
So whenever you are eating, you should be focusing on eating. So rightly said by Dr. Tulla that you should chew it properly. So basically, after bariatric surgery, we train our patients to chew more and have a mindful eating, because constitute is very, and you have to eat for your health. Don't eat for your taste buds. That is very important. If you go by your taste buds, you are not going to have a healthy food. So diet pattern and when to eat and how to eat is very important. You have to chew it properly. Again, there is importance of saliva, because when you are chewing properly in your oral cavity, number one, you are grinding it properly. Number two, you are mixing your food with the saliva.
Yeah.
Because saliva has a amylase and lot of enzymes. So number three, your food becomes alkaline. Then you will not be having any acidity. So you are mixing it in the alkaline media. And number four, you will enjoy your food, because while keeping the food into your oral cavity for a long time, your taste buds will be happy, even you are having a healthy food.
Now
But also, I would like to know that because in India we try to use or eat with our hands, and people in other countries they use it with spoon and all. So, is there a difference in understanding your mind that you are eating full or your tummy is full when you eat with hand or using a spoon?
Look, there is no enough data, for that. But yes, some says that because of the tactile stimulation of your fingers, the reflexes which is going from your digestive system towards your hypothalamus of your brain, that becomes faster. Because the first sense of your food is your oral cavity, your tongue. But then the first sense becomes your fingers. So because you're touching your fingers with your food first, so your reflex starts early. So we don't have enough data to prove that, but yes, this is the, you can say, mythology behind this, the culture of having food with the fingers.
So Ankit, the biggest problem with us, what we've seen over a period of time, is that we need to understand that we should eat in a peaceful atmosphere. Right now, what has happened is that every time we are eating, we are either watching television or doing anything. So our whole focus is not on eating. It is, see, if there is a heated debate going on, you will eat more, because you will be embroiled so much into that debate which is going around that you will forget what you are eating. And this is typical, which we've seen. So, I mean, with children also, why are the children getting obese? There are three reasons for it. One, of course, there is a lack of physical activity because they are so much ingrained with technology that they don't want to go outdoors. They don't want to stretch it out in the hot, humid weather. Everyone is now into ACs, so that's a challenge. Number two is that they have access to a lot of foods which we didn't have during our childhood. So there is a lot of, I mean, fat-filled, I mean, high-calorie food, high-calorie drinks which are available now, and I mean, everyone is basically the binge eating and binge watching. So that's the challenge. So I mean, as a rule of thumb, we should always try not to, when we are eating, we should try to refrain from interaction of any kind with any technology or watch the TV or read a newspaper, because if our concentration is not towards eating, we are going to go overboard. And this is a typical thing which there's a paper on this which has been published where they have seen that people who eat with their mind into eating eat relatively lesser as compared to people who are distracted and they eat.
No, it's
Yeah.
But
So-
do you also
so the-
believe that eating empty? Eating like 80% of your stomach is good, or you have to eat or make your stomach full? Then only you would feel that you have eaten well.
So there are 2-3 things with it. You know what happens is traditionally we used to eat fruits after food, right? Now the concept is absolutely other way around. So it says that eat roughage first, so that you fill your stomach with roughage, and then eat the nutritious food what you are eating after that. So that even if you want to eat more, you will not be able to eat more. So roughage comes as roughage means cucumber. It means all kind of green leafy, well-washed vegetables, right? So these are things which we should be eating. Even if we want to take water, we should take water before food, maybe around half an hour before food, so that we are some partially filled up before we start taking food. Because if we are not that, if we are not, I mean, we are not, I would say, balanced with our food, or we are not strict with our food regimens. Because see, ultimately, everyone is bound to cheat, right? I mean, it's very difficult. Honestly speaking, how many people are there? I mean, you can hold it. I mean, raise your hands if you've never cheated in life. It cannot be. And with the food, when the food comes on the table, you are bound to cheat, right? So we need to, I mean, make ways and means around it so that we are careful with that.
So why
the
not
scientific
cheat our stomach to think that we're eating more? That's smart. Cheat ourselves by thinking we're eating more, right?
Yeah.
Scientific fact behind Dr. Tulla's theory is, rightly said Dr. Tulla, we should have a more roughage as compared to having a lot of carbohydrate or sugary food, because you know how your satiety reflex starts from your stomach to the brain. So basically, this is again, Rakesh, this is a ghrelin based. You know, when there is a stretching of the wall of your stomach, when there is a stretching of your wall of the stomach, then only the ghrelin will tell your, then only the receptors in the wall of the stomach will tell the brain that you are full. So until and unless you are not stretching the wall of your, in India we say, pet bhar ke kha liya. That means you are stretching the wall of your stomach, and that stretching you can do. The normal capacity of your stomach is around 1.5 liter. So that stretching can be possible when you have taken the portion size of 1.5 liter. And then 1.5 liter can have 500 calories if you have taken roughage along with that. It can have a 5,000 calories if you have taken a lot of sugary food. So that depends on you. So the 1.5 liter of your food will stretch the wall of your stomach to tell your brain that you are full. So that depends on the contents of your food. So, you know, again, if you are taking more refined sugar is the sugar which has been processed from sugarcane or sugar beet. Like white flour is there, sweetener there, corn syrup is there. So all those things which are not good for you. So these refined sugars, they have a simple sugar. And I tell you that these simple sugars or refined sugars are very dangerous, because they are being digested very fast. because they have only one saccharide. Either it would be glucose or it would be fructose. So that will be digested very fast, and you will not feel full, because whatever the sugar you have taken, that will absorb immediately, that will give you energy immediately. You will feel, I'm not full. You're not stretching your stomach. So that is why you should not be taking the refined sugar. You should always take a natural sugar. Natural sugar, it may be partially processed or it would be non-processed. Non-processed like your fruits, your vegetables, and partially processed like your whole grains. In spite of stripping up your grains, you have to take whole food, whole grains, so that you can have more roughage, as being discussed, as been explained by Dr. Tulla. If you will have more roughage in 1.5 liter, you will have lot of roughage, and you will stretch the wall, and you will tell your brain that I'm full. Number two, Dr. Tulla discussed about the binge dieting. Binge dieting is only there when you are late awakener. You are not sleeping in time. In spite of sleeping at 10 or 11 o'clock, if you are sleeping at 2 o'clock, because while you are awakening, the ghrelin hormone is going up. Your body's ghrelin hormone is going up, and that is a hunger hormone. So that will tell you, I want to have something always. But while sleeping, the leptin hormone is there. So when there is a leptin hormone is anorexic hormone, is satiety hormone that keep you satiate, satiation in stage. So you will not have feeling of the hunger when leptin is there, but you will have a feeling of hunger when ghrelin is there. So in spite of awakening at night, you should have in-time sleep, have a good quality sleep. So that would give you a good health.
Well, that is
But sir, some people are
useful,
able to
because I do experience this. I do experience when I stay up late, I feel hungry. That's why I go to sleep now I'm supposed to go to sleep now, but yeah, it's 11:30 here, so this is my normal time to go to sleep. But you're absolutely spot on this. I totally go with you.
Yeah, I think too, and correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe our commercialization of how we eat needs to be changed as well, because like they'll show a dessert that just looks so delectable and we know it's so bad for you, right? But why not show somebody eating a really delectable piece of fruit and at the right time of day of when they should eat it, like maybe before they go to bed, or drinking the milk that's mixed a certain way. My grandmother used to tell me she would always warm milk before she'd go to bed. She said it would help her sleep better, that she didn't need any sleep aids when she had a warm milk before she went to bed. I don't know how true that is, but I do know it worked for her.
Mm-hmm.
But perhaps if we saw commercials or famous people like the celebrity we had on last Tuesday, enjoying the right foods at the right time of day and commercializing that, what do you guys think about that?
Absolutely. I think it is what we see on television. And I've just also resolved not to switch on the television. I always switch on the television when I'm eating, or I'm reading a book when I'm eating. And this talk has been absolutely an eye opener.
So I've never believed in the TV being on when I eat, because I feel like I lose conversation if somebody's at the table with me. But sometimes when you're by yourself, it's easy to turn on the TV just for that noise of
hearing human voices.
Just do music. You don't need the TV.
So Kim, it is better that while you're eating, you can listen to music. I mean that also phone conversations. They're also one big no-no. So that is a no-no. We've seen a lot of people basically while they're eating, they're conversing. So their mind is into conversation. They don't know what they're eating.
And no texting either. I have a rule at my house: phones down at eating time. I don't care how big a group we have, if it's a party, any of that. All phones down at prayer and dinner. Done. Because I think you're right. I think we're too into the conversations and not what's around us. What I find interesting is how you both support the chewing of the food, drinking a glass of water before we eat, which I try to do, but I tend to forget. But what about taking liquid while we eat? Is there a formula that works best while you're eating, taking liquid?
So we should be drinking water around 30 minutes before you're taking food and 30 minutes after you have taken the food. Because what happens while taking a liquid along with your food will neutralize your enzymes in the digestive system, and then the enzymes will not be able to work properly and your digestion would not be good. So it is not good to neutralize your enzymes or dilute your food in the stomach. Once the stomach has passed, once the food has passed from the stomach into the intestine, that takes around 45 minutes to 1 hour. Then you can have water because now the food has crossed your stomach and has gone to the intestine for the absorption. So then this liquid will not going to dilute your food. So we can have after 30 or 45 minutes of your meal.
Interesting.
So what
Yeah.
And the principle, always we should.
The beverages are off. The beverages are off the table. After table.
Yeah, again, the coca along with the food. Coca is having a refined sugar, so say no to refined sugar. No coca, no sweeteners, no corn syrup, nothing. Just have a bulky diet, high fiber diet, so that you can say your brain, "I'm full," with 500 to 1,000 calories only. So that is the best principle. That is the best practices you can have. And the best policy is always do two things at one time is always bad. Do only one thing so that you can give your 100% focus to one thing. If you are eating, mindful eating. If you are watching TV, you are watching TV. If you are listening music, you are listening music. If you are talking, you are talking. Two things are always bad at one time.
No, that's in business, that's a good practice too. That's just a good discipline, to try to focus on one thing because you get it finished, right? If you don't focus on that one thing, a lot of times it doesn't get finished. And I think eating is probably the place that we forgot to do this. I think it's very important. This is probably the best conversation I've had in a long time. I mean, I've learned so much about just drinking with my meal and all the things about, when to eat and how. I forgot about chewing. We learned that as a kid. How many? Shame on you. Oh, shame on you.
So that's all.
You make that an ice cream and then I'm in trouble.
No, but generally, that. A lot of people suggest that if you don't have food, you can have a chocolate or maybe a sneaker. Is it good for health?
So that's good for energy. That's good for energy, but not good for health.
Good. Yeah, this is good for cheating. You can say chocolate is a cheater.
Chocolate is a cheater. My dad was diabetic, but his favorite thing, I hate saying this, but he kind of liked it when his sugar dropped, because my mom would give him a Snickers bar when you showed the Snickers bar. Because my doctor one time told my mom, when his sugar drops, just get him a Snickers bar. So I think my dad would do this on purpose. And he'd let his sugar drop so he would get a Snickers bar. So my mom would stock up on Snickers bars and she would keep them in the refrigerator so they wouldn't melt. They didn't have a lot of money, but she would, when the doctor said he could have it, my dad would go, Snickers bars, make sure you get the Snickers bars. And, but that's how
we have a healthy snack also. So the typical, I'm sure Mr. Krishnan will be remembering that when we were kids, we used to eat a lot of that. That is what is known as the chikki or gachak.
Yeah.
Basically peanuts with roasted in caramelized
sugar. Yeah.
Sugar.
That's
so
true.
That sugar was also so that sugar was also. We when we were children. There's a very interesting thing which used to happen. So we used to eat a lot of this good when we were children. All the tea were also made from this jaggery, right? Jaggery, right? So what happened is, over a period of time, jaggery was replaced by this refined sugar. And this is how Americanization of India happened, madam. I'm just giving you a little history.
We can say it's a westernization of India.
You introduced sugar to us. Yeah, so you introduced sugar to us. We left jaggery and went into sugar.
You can't blame
what has
them.
happened
Sugar was invented in India. Sugar was invented in India.
I'm just telling them that the kind of, I remember when way back in the very
Yes,
early,
yes,
I mean
you're right.
very early 70s and 80s, a lot of people in the villages were only used to taking jaggery.
I agree.
So
Yeah.
sugar was
Yeah.
nowhere there, right? Then came sugar, and slowly there was a status symbol attached with sugar.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
status symbol changed the entire thing. And now look what we are going into. We are again going back to jaggery.
Margaret, there you go. You know what? Why not start evolving? Because this conversation has just been fantabulous. But why not start evolving maybe an app, because we are so into our technology, that tells us some better snack foods to eat, right? Because I think if we're reminded and shown that wow, and make it look tasteful, right? Because we do that with candy and junk. We make it look so good and sweet, but maybe we can do that and advertise healthier foods, like eating blueberries. I'm waiting for my blueberry bushes to ripen. I've got thousands of blueberries. The birds will get the most of them, but because I won't put nets up, because the snakes always get tangled in the nets, and I don't like the snakes. So I just let the birds have some, and I get the rest usually. I think the squirrels climb into them too. But blueberries are good for you. I can eat a pound of them in one setting. I'm sure that's not good. I'm sure you two are going to go, Kim, that's too many. But I can eat a pound of blueberries.
Yeah, all the berries, whether it is the
Are good.
blueberry, strawberry, raspberry, they are good sources of natural carbohydrate. Natural carbohydrate. It is not a refined
Fiber.
carbohydrate. So that natural carbohydrate, it absorbs very slowly, and it make you feel full early. So that is why we drink milk at night, because milk has a natural carbohydrate. It very slowly it is being absorbed from your body. So maybe you have drunk at night, and after 4 or 5 hours, this will be absorbed. This sugar will be absorbed. So that is why this is a good source of natural. Even all the berries, they're good source of natural carbohydrate. They're good source of protein as well. All the berries, they have good amount of protein.
They're healthy, not just internally, but all of this kind of develops your external, right? It makes your hair healthier, your skin, right? Dr. Tulla, I mean, this is good for your skin. Eating healthier. Women need to know this, because we're at home without any of our beauty aids, right? We're not going to our beauticians. We're not going getting our hair done. We're not going to see it. Some people go see a face beautician for face maintenance, where they exfoliate your skins and clean your pores. But we're at home, but eating healthier is internally and to external. That's better, right?
Much better. Much better.
So see, skin is basically a reflection of yourself. What the mind is telling you is being reflected on the skin. See, aging is going to happen with everyone. I mean, everyone is going to age. But you see, there are genetics involved. There are a lot of other factors involved, skin quality and all that. But the paradox is that if you're not eating well, you're aging faster. So that is why it is very important that you eat right, you eat a balanced diet. Of course, you're going to cheat a little bit here and there. That's okay, provided that you cheat less. You don't cheat more, you
Regularly.
cheat less. And so you just cheat a little lesser. And I mean, that's what the way it is. So you eat a lot of basically natural food, and natural means, I mean, not which is laced with pesticide.
Right.
Because
And I
now
agree.
that is also a challenge. That is also a challenge, because I mean, honestly speaking, natural is no longer natural also. So I mean, that is a bigger challenge also, and especially in developing countries like India and all. So we have these fruits and all which are grossly contaminated. So I mean, it's a challenge.
It is a difficult challenge, because I often wonder too, if we're spraying the fruits as they grow, is it growing in the fruit? Of course they say it isn't, but in my garden, I use all natural herbicides. What I mean by herbicides, we don't use herbicides. I grow flowers that keep the bugs and the pest away. And we just, if a plant is overridden with bugs, then we just remove the plant. And we just go, well, that's just a little bit less fruit for us. But we don't believe in any herbicides in my garden. But when I shop for fruits and vegetables, I have no idea what they did with those. The ones who say natural, I don't believe it. So I wash it good, but I mean,
Same here. I washed them thoroughly.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that it didn't grow in the fruit. I sometimes
Yeah.
stuff grew in the fruit, and I mean I could be wrong, but it's conceivable. But I don't know why these places can't do what I do. Like most bugs, they hate marigolds. You can plant a field of marigolds. They hate them. I have the most beautiful green bean plants that no bugs, not one bitten bug, because I plant marigolds all around my green beans, and yeah. And
Can I ask you a question? I mean, Mr. Krishnan, you are based in Singapore, if I'm not wrong.
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong. So, what is the? I mean, if a guy gets caught for, contaminating the food, or fortifying the food,
Adulteration of the food.